You will never rise until you refuse to shrink. The world will press you down, whispering lies of doubt, fear, and unworthiness, urging you to stay small, to play it safe, to accept a lesser life. But greatness is not found in shrinking. It is forged in the defiant choice to stand tall, to claim your destiny, to build a life that burns with purpose. You are not here to cower under the weight of the world's expectations. You are here to rise, to become a force that reshapes reality. Napoleon Hill, the relentless architect of human triumph, studied those who refused to shrink. Edison, Carnegie, Ford, Lincoln, men who faced crushing pressures yet chose to rise, forging empires from their unyielding resolve. You stand at the edge of your own ascent, the power to refuse pulsing in your heart. Will you shrink, surrendering to fear, or will you rise, acting as if your greatness is inevitable? You will never rise until you refuse to shrink. Make that choice now, and let your fire blaze eternal. Your mind is a forge, a molten crucible where every thought is shaped into ascent or surrender. Hill taught that the mind is the starting point of all achievement, but it is also the breeding ground of all retreat. Most people shrink, their minds cluttered with doubts, excuses, and the weight of external pressures, accepting a life smaller than their potential. Your thoughts are not neutral, they are architects, building either a monument to your destiny or a cage of your fears. Picture a mountain, its peak piercing the heavens, its slopes steep and unforgiving. Your mind is the climber, scaling the heights. Equip it with belief, fuel it with purpose, and it will conquer any summit. But let it be weighed down by hesitation, and it will slip into the valleys below. To rise, you must master your mind, choosing thoughts that propel you upward, refusing those that pull you back. Act as if your mind is already a disciplined forge, crafting the courage to refuse to shrink with every relentless choice. Belief is the spark that sets the forge ablaze. It is not a timid hope or a fleeting wish, it is a fire, a defiant conviction that you are worthy of the heights you seek. Hill called it faith, not in some distant force, but in the infinite potential within you. Most people shrink, believing they are defined by their failures, that greatness is for others. Doubt is a cunning oppressor, whispering lies, you're not enough. You'll fail. Stay small. But look at those who rose. Abraham Lincoln, mocked as a backwoods lawyer, believed he could lead a nation through its darkest hour. Walt Disney, bankrupt and broken, believed a mouse could charm the world. They were not immune to doubt, they refused to shrink under it, their belief a flame that burned brighter than fear. Belief is not about ignoring your scars, it is about seeing the strength they forged. It is standing at the base of a mountain and envisioning the peak, staring at a blank canvas and seeing a masterpiece. Act as if you are already the warrior whose belief is a blazing torch, refusing to shrink and rising to claim your destiny. Clarity is the lens that sharpens belief into purpose. Without it, you are a climber lost in fog, hesitating on the slopes, unsure of which peak to conquer. Most people shrink, chasing vague desires or the approval of others, never defining their ascent. Hill taught that desire is the spark of all achievement, but desire without direction is a wildfire, beautiful, but destructive. Picture your life as a vast, uncharted mountain range. Which summit will you claim? Not the one society demands, not the one fear permits, but the one that sets your soul ablaze. Clarity is not a gift, it is a conquest, won by interrogating your heart. What is your rise? Not just success, but the life it enables, freedom, impact, legacy. Write it down. Speak it aloud. Let the answers cut through the fog like a beacon. Clarity is not a single epiphany, it is a fire, built question by question, choice by choice, until your purpose burns as bright as the dawn. Act as if you are already the warrior who knows their summit, and let clarity guide your refusal to shrink. Vision is clarity's air, the map that charts your ascent to greatness. It is not enough to know your purpose, you must see it, feel it, live it in your bones. Most people shrink, their visions dimmed by fear or the comfort of a smaller life, never daring to act with conviction. Vision is the warrior's battle plan, the artist's sketch, the composer's melody before the first note. Andrew Carnegie did not just want wealth, he saw steel bridges spanning rivers, factories humming with life, a nation transformed. His vision was so vivid it compelled him to act, refusing to shrink under any pressure. Your vision must be just as real. Close your eyes. See the life you're destined to rise into, not the one you've settled for, but the one that makes your heart thunder. See the empire you'll build, the lives you'll touch, the legacy you'll leave. Write it down. Speak it into existence. Let it become a flame that no doubt can extinguish. Act as if you are already the warrior whose vision is a guiding blaze, refusing to shrink and rising to claim your peak. Purpose is the fuel that feeds your vision. It is the why that makes the how possible. Most people shrink, lacking a reason to endure the climb, waiting for external forces to define them. Purpose is not a lofty ideal, it is a force, a North Star guiding you through the darkness. Viktor Frankl, who survived Auschwitz, said that those who found meaning could endure anything. Your purpose need not be grand, it need only be yours. It might be to inspire others, to create something that lasts, to prove to yourself what's possible. Hill studied Henry Ford, who did not just build cars, he built a legacy of progress, a world where movement was freedom. Ford's purpose was not profit, it was possibility, and it drove him to rise above every obstacle. Find your why. Let it be the heartbeat of your journey, the fire that burns brighter than fear. Act as if you are already the warrior driven by a purpose so fierce it compels you to refuse to shrink, no matter the storm. Discipline is the hammer that carves your purpose into reality. It is the daily choice to rise over shrink, to choose effort over ease, to act over retreat. Most people falter, waiting for inspiration or a lighter load, never forging the habits that define their ascent. Discipline is saying no to the comfort of a smaller life, showing up when you're tired, when you're afraid, when the world offers every excuse to shrink. Hill marveled at Thomas Edison, who worked through 10,000 failures to invent the light bulb. Edison didn't wait for certainty, he disciplined his actions, strike after strike. You are not your feelings. You are not your fatigue. You are your choices. Discipline is choosing to act when every fiber craves safety, acting as if you are already the warrior who commands their destiny. It is the daily deposit in the bank of your future self, the relentless vow that you will not betray your purpose. Act as if you are already the warrior whose hammer is unyielding, refusing to shrink and rising to forge your greatness. Action is discipline's air, the tangible strike that shapes your ascent. Most people shrink, paralyzed by the gap between their dreams and reality, waiting for a guarantee of success. Action is not perfection, it is motion. The world rewards the bold, not the flawless. Hill's philosophy was about creating the moment, not waiting for it. Edison did not wait for the light bulb to invent itself, he acted, failed, adjusted, acted again. Each failure was a strike, each strike a step toward greatness. What is your next strike? Not the grand summit, but the one action you can take today to rise above shrinking. Take it. Then take another. Momentum is a force of nature, and it begins with a single push. Action is the bridge between your mind and the world, the moment your purpose takes form. Act as if you are already the warrior who moves without hesitation, and let each strike forge the life you're destined to live. Gratitude is the quiet power that keeps your fire burning through the mountain's trials. It is not a shallow platitude, it is a lens, a way of seeing that transforms struggle into strength. Hill believed that gratitude aligned the mind with abundance, tuning it to opportunity rather than lack. Most people shrink, focusing on what they lack, letting resentment tether them to a smaller life. Look around you. The breath in your lungs, the chance to act again, the lessons carved into your struggles, they are treasures. Andrew Carnegie, at the height of his wealth, said his greatest riches were his ability to appreciate what he had. Gratitude does not erase the climb's challenges, it gives you the strength to rise through them. It reminds you that you are not a victim of your journey, you are its conqueror. In the moments when the path feels steep, pause. Breathe. Find one thing, no matter how small, that anchors you to hope. Let it ground you, and then act. Act as if you are already the warrior who finds gratitude in the journey, and let it fuel your fire to refuse to shrink. Gratitude fuels your ascent, its quiet warmth steadying your resolve as you climb the mountain of your destiny. The slopes are steep, the winds of doubt and fear howling to push you back, urging you to shrink into a smaller version of yourself. Most will falter, cowering under the weight, their dreams crumbling into the valleys of hesitation. But you are not most. You refuse to shrink, each step a defiant act of rising, forging a life that blazes with purpose. The storm may rage, but your fire burns fiercer. Every choice to move forward, every refusal to yield, is a strike against the chains of fear. Napoleon Hill's wisdom, forged in the triumphs of those who stood tall, is your guide. You will never rise until you refuse to shrink, and every action you take builds the legacy you were born to leave. The peak calls, step now, and let your fire conquer the heights. Adaptability is the agility that keeps your steps sure on the mountain's shifting terrain. The path to rising is not a straight ascent, it is a rugged climb, twisting with challenges, setbacks, and unforeseen obstacles. Most people shrink, clinging to rigid plans or the comfort of familiarity, believing their dreams require a clear path. But those who rise adapt, adjusting their steps to the mountain's contours, using change to propel their climb. Hill's contemporaries, like John D. Rockefeller, built empires not because they avoided disruption, but because they thrived in it. When markets shifted, when rivals rose, they pivoted, acted, endured. Darwin did not say the strongest survive, he said the most adaptable do. Your purpose will test you, plans will falter, paths will shift. That is not failure, it is the mountain revealing its secrets. Learn from it. Adjust your course. Keep climbing. The warrior who rises is not rigid, they are fluid, like a river carving through stone. Adaptability is not retreat, it is mastery, the relentless resolve to act no matter the storm. Act as if you are already the warrior who bends without breaking, and the mountain will yield to your fire. Resilience is adaptability's twin, the unyielding refusal to let the mountain's trials crush your spirit. The journey to refusing to shrink is strewn with setbacks, failures, rejections, moments when doubt threatens to bury you. Most people shrink, believing these trials prove they're not meant to rise, letting adversity anchor them to a lesser life. But resilience is the choice to climb on, to act as if you are already the warrior who overcomes. Hill taught that every adversity carries the seed of an equivalent benefit, a hidden spark waiting to be kindled. Abraham Lincoln faced relentless loss, elections, loved ones, a nation at war, yet he refused to shrink, acting as if his leadership was destined, because his purpose was his anchor. Your scars are not burdens, they are proof of your strength. Look at the trials you faced, the doubts you've pushed through, the moments you thought you couldn't go on. They are not your defeat, they are your forge. Find the seed in your struggles. Nurture it. Let it fuel you. The world respects those who rise, not those who never fall. Act as if you are already the warrior whose resilience is a blazing fire, propelling you through every storm. Learning is the compass that sharpens your ascent. The warrior who refuses to shrink is not static, they are a student, ever growing, ever refining their climb. Doubt feeds on ignorance, whispering that you don't know enough, that you're not ready to rise. Most people falter, fearing the effort of growth or believing they've learned all they need. Hill spent decades studying the successful Edison, Carnegie, Ford, not to idolize them, but to dissect their methods. He was a student until the end, and so must you be. Learning is not a chore, it is a rebellion against shrinking, a refusal to let ignorance tether you to a smaller life. Read. Listen. Question. Seek mentors, not to follow blindly, but to stand on their shoulders. Thomas Edison's genius was not a gift, it was honed, experiment by experiment, book by book. Every experience is a lesson, failures teach more than successes, critics sharpen more than compliments. Embrace them. Let them refine you. Act as if you are already the warrior who craves growth, who sees every lesson as a spark to fuel their fire. The universe opens its secrets to those who learn with relentless resolve. Courage is the force that drives your steps upward. It is not the absence of fear, but the choice to act in spite of it. Fear is a cunning foe, whispering that you're too small, the climb too steep, the risks too great. Most people shrink paralyzed by this voice, never daring to rise with conviction. But courage is the fire that burns through fear, the decision to move as if you are already the warrior destined for the peak. Hill studied men like Henry Ford, who faced ridicule for his horseless carriage, yet acted, undeterred by the world's laughter. Courage is not a feeling, it is a choice, a vow to climb even when your heart trembles. J.K. Rowling, rejected by 12 publishers, could have let fear shrink her dreams. Instead, she acted as if she were already the author who would change the world, and that courage birthed Harry Potter, a phenomenon that enchanted millions. Your courage is your power. Act, and fear will bow. Climb, and the path will appear. Act as if you are already the warrior whose fire cannot be quenched, and let your courage propel you through every tempest. Autosuggestion is the silent rhythm that steadies your climb. Hill taught that the subconscious mind is a fertile garden, and every thought you plant takes root. Most people shrink, letting their minds grow wild with weeds of doubt and hesitation, undermining their resolve to rise. Autosuggestion is not wishful thinking, it is a deliberate act of planting the seeds of greatness. Oprah Winfrey, born into poverty and pain, could have believed she was nothing. Instead, she spoke a different truth. She stood before mirrors, before empty rooms, and declared her worth. I am destined for greatness, she told herself, and her mind listened. That belief fueled her actions, propelling her from a small-town newsroom to a global empire. You are the gardener of your soul. Speak to yourself with conviction. Write your destiny in bold letters. Say, I refuse to shrink. I rise. I conquer. Let those words sink into your core. They are not empty, they are the rhythm of your ascent. Act as if you are already the warrior whose mind is a blazing crucible, refusing to shrink with every steady step. Mastermind alliances are the climbers who strengthen your fire. Hill believed that no one rises alone. Your refusal to shrink is a flame, but it burns brighter when surrounded by others who share your fire. Most people falter, surrounded by naysayers who amplify their doubts, fearing the effort of seeking better allies. A mastermind is not a casual gathering, it is a council of warriors, a circle of dreamers who challenge you, sharpen you, lift you higher. Andrew Carnegie surrounded himself with advisors who were smarter than he was. He did not fear their brilliance, he harnessed it, acting to build an empire that transformed a nation. Look at your circle. Are they weights or wings? Do they fuel your doubts or ignite your resolve? Seek those who see your destined rise, who hold you accountable, who refuse to let you shrink. Steve Jobs did not build Apple alone, he had Wozniak, designers, visionaries who shared his dream. Your mastermind might be mentors, peers, even the wisdom of books. Act as if you are already the warrior who forges alliances that fuel their fire, and let them carry you to peaks you cannot reach alone. Sacrifice is the price of your fire's endurance. Refusing to shrink demands a trade, a willing exchange of comfort for conquest. Most people falter, unwilling to let go of the familiar, believing they can rise without cost. Hill studied men like Thomas Edison, who sacrificed sleep, security, and approval to chase his vision. Sacrifice is not loss, it is investment. Serena Williams sacrificed parties, rest, the carefree life of youth to train, to compete, to win. She acted as if she were already a legend, and it made her one. What are you willing to give up? The late night scrolling? The habits that tether you to a smaller life? The fear of failure? Sacrifice is not punishment, it is power. Every no to the trivial is a yes to your destiny. Act as if you are already the warrior who pays the price without hesitation, and the universe will reward your resolve with a fire that burns eternal. Time is the mountain's wind that carries your fire upward. Most people shrink, wasting hours in distractions, procrastination, or the demands of others, hoping greatness will find them. Hill warned that drifting, living without purpose, is the greatest tragedy of all. The clock is ticking, not to scare you, but to awaken you. Marie Curie, toiling in a freezing shed, discovered radium because she treated time like gold. She acted as if every moment mattered, and it changed the world. Audit your days. Where does your time go? Does it fuel your ascent, or does it feed your hesitation? Cut what does not matter. Protect your hours like a fortress. Time is not your enemy, it is your wind, and every moment is a chance to climb. Act as if each second is a step toward your destined peak, and let your relentless fire burn through the fog of delay. Persistence is the relentless rhythm of your climb. The journey to rising without shrinking is not a single step, it is a marathon, demanding you keep moving through setbacks, doubts, and exhaustion. Most people shrink, believing the struggle proves they're not meant for the peak, letting their steps falter. Hill called persistence the sustained effort that builds faith, the refusal to let obstacles halt your ascent. Elon Musk watched his first rockets explode, his companies teeter on the edge of collapse. Yet he persisted, acting as if he were already the visionary who would change the world. Persistence is not about never wavering, it is about climbing again every time you do. The world will block your path, mock your ambition, tempt you to shrink. But persistence is the voice that says, not today. It is the courage to take one more step, to act one more day, to rise as if the next strike will claim your summit. Keep climbing, your resolve a thunder that shakes the mountain, one relentless day at a time. Keep climbing, your resolve a thunder that shakes the mountain, one relentless day at a time. The peak of your destiny looms above, its promise of greatness calling you through the storm. The world roars with chaos, doubt, fear, and the weight of conformity threatening to crush your spirit. Most will shrink, cowering in the valleys, their dreams buried under the rubble of hesitation. But you are not most. You refuse to shrink, each step a defiant act of rising, forging a legacy that defies the tempest. The winds may howl, but your fire burns fiercer. Every choice to ascend, every refusal to yield, is a testament to the warrior within. Napoleon Hill's wisdom, forged in the triumphs of those who stood tall, is your guide. You will never rise until you refuse to shrink, and every action you take carves the path to your eternal summit. The peak is yours, act now, and let your fire conquer the heights. Faith is the invisible flame that fuels your persistence. It is not a fleeting hope, but a blazing conviction that the greatness you seek is not just possible, it is your destiny. The world will try to douse this flame, whispering that your efforts are too small, your dreams too vast, your scars too deep. Most people shrink, letting doubt bury their fire, retreating to a smaller life. Hill described faith as a state of mind, a belief so fierce it aligns the universe to your will. Nelson Mandela, locked in a cell for 27 years, did not merely hope for a free South Africa, he acted as if he were already the leader who would forge it. That faith sustained him through darkness, isolation, and despair, driving his every disciplined step. Your faith must be just as unyielding. It is not about ignoring the mountain's trials, it is about knowing your fire is stronger. Faith is the whisper that says, I am meant to rise. It is the courage to climb as if your greatness is inevitable, even when the slopes grow steep. Write your destiny on your heart. Carry it like a torch. Let it blaze through the shadows. Act as if you are already the warrior whose faith burns so brightly it lights the way to your summit. Imagination is the vision that guides your steps upward. Hill taught that the imagination is the forge where all plans are crafted, where the greatness you're rising to takes shape before it crowns the peak. Most people shrink, their imaginations dulled by fear, believing their reality is fixed, their dreams too distant to pursue. There are two kinds of imagination, synthetic, which reshapes existing ideas, and creative, which taps into the infinite intelligence of the universe. Walt Disney was a master of both. Bankrupt, mocked, told his dreams were childish, he acted as if he were already the visionary who would bring joy to millions. He saw castles, characters, entire kingdoms before a single brick was laid. Disneyland was not built with money, it was built with imagination, fueled by relentless resolve. Your mind is the same forge. Close your eyes. See the life you're destined to rise into, not the one you've settled for, but the one that sets your soul ablaze. See the empire you'll build, the lives you'll touch, the legacy you'll leave. Let that vision guide your steps. The world cannot resist a mind that dares to dream without limits. Act as if you are already the warrior whose imagination carves a path to the peak, refusing to shrink under any storm. Influence is the spark that spreads your fire across the mountain. Your refusal to shrink is not just for you, it is a beacon, capable of inspiring others to rise above their own fears. Most people focus only on their own climb, never realizing their power to ignite, fearing the weight of impact. Hill's mastermind principle was clear: influence is not a byproduct of greatness, it is its engine, a force that multiplies through connection. Rosa Parks, a seamstress in Montgomery, refused to shrink under oppression. Her single act of defiance, refusing to give up her seat, sparked the civil rights movement, inspiring millions to rise for justice. Your influence is your power to shift the world. It is the encouragement that lifts a friend, the bold choice that inspires a community, the example that shows others they too can refuse to shrink. You are not here to hoard your fire, you are here to share it. Who will you ignite? What will you spark? Act as if you are already the beacon whose actions light the way for others, and let your spark ripple through the world. Commitment is the anchor that steadies your climb through the storm. It is the unwavering vow to rise as the warrior you've chosen to be, no matter the cost, no matter the mountain's fury. The world tempts you to shrink, to seek comfort, to let doubt halt your steps. Most people falter, their greatness fading under the weight of indecision. Hill studied titans like Andrew Carnegie, who faced betrayal, skepticism, and chaos, yet acted as if he were already the architect of a nation's progress. Commitment is not a feeling, it is a promise, a pledge you make to yourself when the slopes grow steep. Maya Angelou, rising from trauma, acted as if she were already the voice that would lift millions. Her commitment turned pain into a legacy that reshaped the world. Your commitment is your anchor. It is the voice that says, "I will not shrink." It is the fire that burns when all else fades. Make your vow. Write it in stone. Let it guide you through the tempests. Act as if you are already the warrior whose resolve is unbreakable, and let your commitment propel you to the peak. Joy is the warmth of your fire's endurance. The climb to rising without shrinking is not a grim toll, it is a dance, a celebration of the warrior you're becoming. Most people shrink, seeing struggle as punishment, letting it drain the light from their ascent. Hill believed that a positive mental attitude was the key to unlocking opportunity. Joy is not the absence of hardship, it is the choice to find meaning in the journey. Walt Disney, battered by bankruptcy and betrayal, never lost his childlike wonder. He acted as if he were already the creator of worlds, and that joy built an empire. Your climb will be fierce. There will be nights when doubt weighs like granite, days when the storm seems unending. But in those moments, seek joy. Find it in the small victories, the step you took, the fear you defied, the purpose you held fast. Joy is the warmth that keeps your fire burning. It is the reminder that you are not just surviving, you are thriving, forging a life that sings with purpose. Act as if you are already the warrior who finds joy in the struggle, and let it illuminate your path. Connection is the crew that strengthens your fire. Your refusal to shrink is not a solitary climb, it is a rallying cry, amplified by those who climb beside you. Most people falter, isolating themselves, believing they must rise alone to prove their worth, fearing the vulnerability of connection. Hill's philosophy was rooted in the power of connection, the idea that we rise together or fall apart. Martin Luther King Jr. did not climb alone. He acted as if he were already the leader of a movement, standing with thousands, marching with millions, speaking for those whose voices were silenced. His fire was fueled by connection, by the hands he held, the hearts he moved. Seek your crew. Find those who see your fire and fan it, who challenge you to climb bolder, who remind you of your purpose when doubt looms large. Connection is not weakness, it is strength. It is the courage to be vulnerable, to share your fears, to ask for support. You are not diminished by others, you are magnified. Act as if you are already the warrior who forges bonds, not barriers, and watch your fire spread across the mountain. Humility is the quiet compass that keeps your fire true. It is not self-doubt, but the recognition that your climb is part of a larger range. Most people let pride halt their ascent, refusing to learn from others, believing they must rise alone to shine. Hill taught that the most successful were those who listened to mentors, critics, even adversaries. Humility kept Carnegie grounded as he built his empire, kept Edison curious as he chased the impossible. It is the willingness to say, "I don't know, but I will learn." The world is a chorus of voices, some will cheer, some will condemn. Humility lets you hear them all without losing your path. It reminds you that your fire is not above others, but beside them. Stay humble, not to dim your flame, but to let it burn brighter. Act as if you are already the warrior who serves, who lifts others as they rise, and your greatness will grow without bounds. Infinite intelligence is the unseen wind that fuels your relentless fire. Hill believed that the mind is a receiver, capable of tapping into a universal reservoir of wisdom and inspiration. Most people shrink, too caught in doubt's noise to listen, waiting for external guidance. This is not mysticism, it is the spark of creation that pulses through every inventor, every dreamer. Marie Curie did not discover radium by chance. She acted as if she were already the scientist who would change the world, tuning her mind to the frequency of possibility. You have the same access. In the quiet moments, when you silence doubt's clamor, you can feel it, a whisper, a vision, a truth that burns brighter than fear. Trust it. Nurture it. Let it guide your steps. Infinite intelligence is the wind that carries your fire, the compass in your hand. Act as if you are already the warrior who receives these gifts, and the universe will guide your climb to the peak. Legacy is the fire you leave burning on the mountain. The greatness you forge, shaped by your relentless refusal to shrink, is not just for today, it is a beacon for tomorrow, a blaze that outlives you. Most people chase fleeting sparks, measuring their worth in temporary triumphs, shrinking under the weight of their fears. Hill believed that true greatness is achieved in service to something larger. Malala Yousafzai did not rise for herself alone, she acted as if she were already a global voice, leaving a legacy of education and empowerment. Your legacy is the warmth you leave behind. It is the lives you touch, the dreams you ignite, the peaks you inspire because you dared to refuse to shrink. Ask yourself, what fire will you leave? Not for your ego, but for the world. Your greatness is not complete until it sets others ablaze. Now, stand at the peak of your destiny. Look back at the valleys you've crossed, the doubts you've burned, the fears you've conquered, the steps you've taken, each one a testament to the warrior you've become. They are not accidents. They are the forge that shaped you. You are not the person who cowered in the shadows. You are a warrior, a creator, a flame. The world is not the same because you refuse to shrink. But this is not the end, it is the beginning. Your fire is not yours to hoard, it is a gift to the world, a legacy to ignite generations. The mountain was fierce, but your resolve is fiercer. Doubt was loud, but your actions are louder. Close your eyes. See the greatness you were born to claim, not the life you once shrank into, but the one you forged. See the empire you'll build, the lives you'll touch, the legacy you'll leave. Feel the heat of your purpose, the weight of your resolve, the pulse of your destiny. This is your moment. Not tomorrow, not when fear fades, but now. The clock is ticking, not to limit you, but to remind you, you have everything you need. Your mind is the forge, your belief the flame, your actions the hammer. What will you create? Step forward. You will never rise until you refuse to shrink. Claim your greatness with every breath, every choice, every stride. The world is not waiting for you to feel ready, it is waiting for you to act ready. You are not here to drift, to doubt, to shrink. You are here to rise, to create, to blaze. Go now. Set the universe alight with your fire. Your time is now.